Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Clifford Hicks. When I died in 1927, I was a promising young attorney, a law partner of respected former governor of Missouri, Elliott Royale, and I was the director of Page Bank. These are considerable accomplishments for a 28-year-old. But I must warn you, my story isn't pretty. And I'm neither proud of what I became or of what happened to me. Let me start at the end. It's Sunday, May 1st, 1927, about 9:30 in the morning. A man is riding his horse when he notices something lying in the road, Watson Road, just south of the city. He dismounts, he walks over, and there he finds my body lying in a ditch, riddled with 6 bullets. 6 shots from a .45 caliber revolver. I'd been dead about 2 hours. Lying next to my body was a small pair of women's gloves. Certainly a curious and untimely death. I mean, after all, I was only 28 years old. And on a Sunday morning to boot. Normally you would have found me in church, where I was the Sunday school superintendent. I was mourned, of course, by the congregation, by my friends, and of course my family, my younger brother, Glenn, and my dear, sweet wife, Emma, who was carrying our unborn son. My burial here at Valhalla on a rainy Sunday afternoon was a somber occasion. But even my end wasn't the end. Just a week later, they dug me up. Seems like the insurance companies wanted to make sure it was really me down there. There was some suspicion that the body they had buried belonged to somebody else. Even stranger still was the suggestion that my death might have been a suicide. Well, the autopsy showed that it was indeed me. They couldn't determine the angle of the bullets, and the embalming fluid made it impossible to determine the contents of my stomach. So, they buried me again. My death was to remain, as they say, a mystery. There were certainly signs of trouble, though, in the weeks leading up to my death. I had just taken out $350,000 worth of life insurance, naming Emma and Glenn as beneficiaries. I bought a $23,000 house in University City for Emma and me, but I defaulted on the first interest payment that was due. A week and a half before my death, I was robbed. I told the police I was robbed on the street by 2 men of $5,200. I told the police I didn't recognize the men, and then I called the insurance company for reimbursement. Now, on Tuesday, I was accused by a client of misplacing $5,000 in securities that had been entrusted to me. This, along with other irregularities, forced me to resign on Wednesday from the Page Bank Board of Directors. Apparently, folks in my law firm got wind of these problems. And on Friday, I was called into a meeting with Elliott Royale and 2 other attorneys from the office. Elliott asked me if I needed money. I said no. After tomorrow, I'd have all the money I needed. Didn't work out that way. My life was unraveling very, very fast. Just 10 hours before my death, I had written out a new will. I left my wife $1, and I told her not to worry. Everything will be all right. My insurance would more than take care of her and our unborn child. If anything should, happen to me. I left my entire estate to Glenn, and I even made out a list of men that I wanted to be pallbearers at my funeral. That night at 3:30, I called Emma. I told her I'd be home just as soon as I was done at the bank. When I didn't arrive that evening, she called Glenn, and he and William Davis, a associate of mine from the law firm, came over and stayed with her till midnight. They found my body at 9:30 the next morning. The police investigation revealed that just 2 hours prior to this, Glenn and Davis had gone to my office and destroyed all my papers. Glenn told the police that I feared for my life, and that he was to burn all my papers if he didn't hear from me or if I didn't come home. They promptly arrested Glenn and Davis. A search of Davis's house revealed that his wife, Patricia, owned a pair of gloves, very similar in size and design to the ones found by my body. And the right index finger, the material on it was worn down, just like the material on the right index finger of the pair of gloves that they found by my body. So there were plenty of suspects, but no real evidence. Glenn and Davis were eventually released, and Emma moved on to Ohio, where she had our son. She named him after me. I appreciated that. My death caused quite a sensation. For 2 months, I was covered in the local papers and on the national wire service. But, you know, after a while, it became old news. And no news at all. So, that brings us here tonight. All these years later. And I guess you'd like to know what really happened, wouldn't you?